Okay guys, so we're talking about submaximal effort method. This one gets confused quite a bit with max effort method, but I want to be very clear that submax is anything above 1 rep. So I'll say that again, anything above 1 repetition is going to be submaximal effort method. So think anywhere from a 2 to a 6 RM. Now you're probably wondering, can you go above a 6 RM? You certainly can, but just to keep this simple, we're going to use 2 to 6 RM as kind of our baseline, all right? So first question to ask, who are we utilizing this with? Not going to be a good method for beginners because they still need to learn how to move, and having them ramp up to a 5 RM with a front squat, probably not going to be in their best interest, at least for a certain length of time. So when someone can consistently perform with heavier loads, then asking them to do a multiple repetition max over time might be the best case scenario. But in this case, if you're working with beginners, you might want to keep this one on the shelf for a bit. Next thing to ask is, why are we doing it? Well, again, similar adaptations to max effort training. We've got a high level of motor unit recruitment, but we also have more time under tension, which gives us more benefits in terms of gaining lean tissue, as well as improving motor patterns. Some people just need more exposure, more repetitions with a given lift to get better at it, okay? And as those loads start approaching above 85%, this is a kind of a good window of time for people to start making good improvements. Other thing is that you might want to consider using this method more often than max effort training, because some people will actually get stronger based on their muscle fiber type with this method than they will max effort training. And for some of you, this might sound counterintuitive, but I will tell you, I've seen people get very, very strong off of submaximal effort work and not as strong with maximal effort work. Remember that with all of our methods, there's never a one size fits all. So you have to really experiment and use it with the right people. So in terms of a force velocity curve, we are working the force component, building with some heavier loads. And what we're utilizing is bilateral movements, or squats, deadlifts, presses. And the question we need to ask is, how are we going to utilize this within our programming? So this would be on our lower or upper centric days, and it would be separated from our other lower or upper days by at least 72 hours, all right? Next thing is rest interval. So anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes. We don't necessarily need full recovery at all times. You might be working from more of a capacity standpoint, but remember that dependent on how much musculature is worked per movement, that will dictate how much rest. But generally speaking, anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes rest for submaximal effort work.